Well, we'll still see some of these isolated to scattered showers and thunderstorms. And as we've mentioned over the past several days, with a lot of that tropical humidity, we've seen some of these heavier downpours. And that is causing some flooding out in parts of Virginia Beach, mainly just some urban flooding, because of that rain coming down so heavy it overwhelms those storm drains. So as we take a look at the radar again, not a lot of rain showing up across the area. You can see much of northeastern North Carolina is clear, peninsula, middle peninsula, eastern shore, but it's areas of Virginia Beach where we've seen that heavier downpour and that thunderstorm just sort of sit over the same area for about an hour, hour and a half that we've had some of those reports of some flooding, and that's why we have that flood advisory that is now out until 6:15 for parts of Virginia Beach. Some of the heaviest of the rain right now right across Oceana, back towards Green Run, up towards Linkhorn, and over towards the Virginia Beach oceanfront. Again, some radar estimates of over 3 inches of rain with that part of the storm. And we have a pretty heavy storm right over top of us right now. Let's move this map down just a little bit, and you can see from downtown Norfolk up towards Colonial Place over towards Ghent, the Midtown Tunnel, and that continues out along 64 as you make your way over towards Azalea Acres. Here's Norfolk International Airport. You might be able to see the runway right in there. So again, there are some of these pockets of heavier rain out there, and again, just with all that humidity, they can drop a lot of rain over a short period of time. Back across Southampton County, we've got another heavier area of rain. All of this moisture streaming in from the south with those winds out of the south and southwest. It's bringing in that tropical moisture all the way from Florida and streaming right up here across the eastern seaboard. Same pattern we saw yesterday, same pattern we'll see tomorrow, and likely into Saturday as well. So futurecast, again, off and on showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two. Some of the activity will die down after sunset. That sun helps heat the ground, and that in turn heats the atmosphere, which gets those showers and some of those thunderstorms firing up. So once again, tomorrow afternoon, we'll see some of those showers and thunderstorms rolling back into the area. Could be any time during the day. The best chances will be during the afternoon, and really more the same on Friday with afternoon showers and possibly a few thunderstorms, temperatures in the low 80s. How much rainfall are we looking at over the next couple of days? Again, hit or miss. Some areas might pick up 1 to 2 inches of rain. Some could be 3 or 4. And it's central Virginia that we're really watching for the potential for some heavier rain. And that's why areas from Southampton County, Surrey County, and through the Middle Peninsula and James City County westward are under that flood watch for the next several days, just because of that potential for the heavier rain in the central part of the state. You can see the cloudy skies, the raindrops showing up on the camera lens as we look over downtown Norfolk and Portsmouth. 73 degrees, heavy rain reported at the airport. Southeasterly winds at 9 miles per hour, humidity at 93%. And where we have seen the rain, those temperatures have come down a bit. 70 in Oceana, 73 in Norfolk, but it's 79 in Williamsburg, 75 Wakefield, 80 in Edenton, and 76 degrees in Saluda. So isolated scattered showers and thunderstorms. Muggy and warm tonight, 68 degrees. Scattered showers or storms tomorrow, the best chances into the afternoon, 80 degrees. 69 scattered showers, best odds off towards the north tomorrow night. And really more scattered showers and thunderstorms on Saturday, a high temperature of 82 degrees, muggy and very warm. Those rainfall chances will start to go down a little bit on Sunday as temperatures go up. High of 87 degrees, notice a 35% chance of rain. Same thing for Monday, 86. And gradually those rain chances go down next week. 85 on Tuesday and Wednesday, 80 degrees on Thursday with our favorite number, a 13% chance of rain by the end of the week.